Hello tarot friends, welcome back to Balsamic Moon Tarot. Thank you for joining today. If you are a return viewer, thanks so much for coming back, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm here with another pick a card reading. This is a timeless reading, and the theme is just the message meant to reach you right now. I picked 3 cards, but I'm doing something different here where the third card is a mystery card. If you're drawn to this card, then by all means pick the reading for this card. But for some reason I felt like I only wanted 2 cards to be a selection here, and yet I wanted to do 3 readings. I didn't want to do just 2 readings. So this is how it has developed. So now you have 3 piles here, with the first pile being the 5 of Swords. I'll show this to you now. Second pile is the Chariot. And the third pile is the mystery card. So feel free to pause, reflect, take a few deep breaths, and skip to the timestamp below for your reading. See you there. Hi Pile 1, this is your reading. I have not shuffled the cards yet, or I have not selected the cards yet. I feel like I need to do that on camera today for some reason. I'm going to start with just a few cards, and then we're going to go from there with further clarification. So, what is the message for Pile 1? You selected the 5 of Swords. Eight of Cups and the Page of Wands. Okay. Let's go ahead and reveal this Oracle card, the Philosopher's Stone. So, first message I'm getting is definitely that you are experiencing let me just pause here to collect my thoughts. Okay. So there is a resistance here, right? There's just my first impression here was resistance. I mean, literally the rock, the stone, the hardness of the stone. That's my first impression here. And so I do think there is inner resistance that you are struggling with, because you, on the one hand, you're aware of the resistance, but on the other hand, you're not sure how to what to do with it, right? Like how do you transform this? How do you alchemize this? I think that with the 5 of Swords, which is, by the way, a repeat card for me today. I pulled this card a bunch of times earlier. With the 5 of Swords, what's important to know is that we can cut off ourselves. We can literally I shouldn't use the word literally. We can cut our connection to the others, to others, to the source, without realizing it. This is what happens when our mental processes overtake us and take us out of the present moment and keep us really preoccupied and keep us in a state of either worry or anxiety, stress. You may not even be stressed out. You may be feeling like, kind of your usual self. But when you're unaware of the constant chatter in the back of your mind, it can kind of build up the energy there to a point where the times when you do need to take action, or the times when you do need to tap into your feelings, there is a blockage, there is a resistance there, and it's kind of mysterious to you, because consciously you don't want to procrastinate, and you don't want to flake, or whatever that resistance is showing up in your life. It's kind of keeping you paralyzed, right? So it's like consciously you're aware of this resistance, but you're not quite fully exploring it on the spiritual or energetic level. Okay, and the Eight of Cups with the Page of Wands, I think, is talking to the situation where you're more at a point now where you feel ready to ask yourself some hard questions, ask yourself some of the soul-searching questions that you've been avoiding, because you are suffering. This Five of Swords card shows someone who has cut off a lot of support. The relationships with others has been compromised or deteriorated because of some kind of mental stubbornness is what I'm seeing here. Some kind of need to always be right, or an unwillingness to kind of receive, take in input, to be receptive, just constantly being the opposite of receptive, right? Constantly being responsive, active. Like, not every situation calls for a response. Sometimes we need to just sit in the feeling and sit in our feelings about it, sit in our thoughts about it. And that is different from resistance. Inner resistance is more of a denial. It's more of a knee-jerk reaction, or something that feels instinctive to you, something that feels like defensive to you, like being triggered and being urged to just stop everything or to not move on. So I hope I'm not going all over the place here, but I feel so much heaviness, and I don't know that you're aware of just how much has been burdening you. That inner resistance can be a level of denial that prevents you from taking stock of all your sorrows, all your pains. The urge to walk away is probably more relatable to you. The desire to just sort of walk away, leave all your responsibilities behind, leave all your relationships behind, leave your work, leave your family, whatever it is. I feel like there's more this urge to just walk away. And so this moment with the Philosopher's Stone, what the message is about, what your guides are trying to tell you, is that you can't just make an adventure out of it. Do not spur a new adventure from this that's just going to take you further from your truth. Use your sense of courage, use your sense of adventure, use your curiosity, use your passion to take an inner adventure, to explore your inner world, your inner life, and what there is unexplored territory. That's what I'm trying to say, is that the resistance is the resistance to explore that. There is like a wall that you don't want to climb, or you don't want to, go beyond in your inner world, okay, in your psyche. And I'm not getting clear advice whether this is a spiritual or emotional, psychological. Like, I'm not quite sure how this is playing out on those levels. It could just be affecting everything. Like, maybe you need to see a therapist, or maybe if you are seeing a therapist, there's a way you need to engage your therapy that can change here, that can improve. I'm not sure. So I'm going to pull some more cards to see what is the message. Can you clarify what exactly, how specific can we get here for advice? The King of Cups and the Fool. So yes, this is definitely pointing to an expert. I honestly think you are the King of Cups here. I don't think the King of Cups is referring to like a therapist in your life. That is noise, sorry, you probably heard the fire truck. Anyway, very interesting that the siren happened just now as we pulled these two cards, because these are beautiful cards that are kind of the opposite of what I was just saying. The King of Cups with the Fool, right? So I think you are the King of Cups. I think that you have tremendous depth to you, you know, emotional depth, spiritual depth, the capacities, the talents, the skills you have for exploring your imagination, for expressing yourself through art, for attuning to others even, you know, for having that sensitivity to others. That is something that you were not just blessed with, but you've also been working on in your own way. And so I think that the Philosopher's Stone here and that resistance I'm talking about is, you know, kind of in a specific realm of your life, like kind of a specific issue that is impacting you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, okay? The Fool card here is showing that you can turn a new leaf about this. Like, you can definitely, there's a beautiful new beginning here that's awaiting you. And I think all you need is the encouragement to go with what your intuition is telling you, to have faith in your own ability to explore, to start this new journey, you know, to go follow your hunches, really, right? So the Five of Swords and the Eight of Cups here, I do think you have been kind of, there's a mentality here, there's some sense that you felt you had all the answers, but those answers were not all adding up. So I think you just got yourself a little bit conflicted or confused in a road where you're trying to make sense of everything. You're trying to make everything line up. But as a result, you further alienated yourself from other people's ideas. You kind of became a little bit closed off to people who were not agreeing with you. And as a result, there's been a kind of disillusionment, a kind of sense of sorrow, a longing for something deeper, some kind of dissatisfaction that's been pushing you to just walk away from everything and everyone. I think there's a sense of being fed up with everything and everyone. But the message here is that you don't have to just change your whole you don't have to change your circumstances. You don't have to change your surroundings. You just have to change your attitude. You just have to explore what is the deeper fear and resistance and defensiveness that has been keeping you searching and searching and searching for a specific result, for a specific answer. See, the specifics of your search are sort of what's gotten you tangled up. It's gotten you locked into some kind of self-defeating pattern here. But with the King of Cups and the Fool, what you are being reminded of is that you have powerful intuition, that your own hunches, your own intuitions are what should be guiding you. So you see what I'm saying? It's not the ideas that you've become attached to that should be guiding you. It's your intuitive sense, the new messages, the new voices, the new hunches that are leading you towards that deeper connection to your spirit, to your soul, okay? The King of Cups is here. So you have a tremendous again, a tremendous ability, a tremendous capacity to explore your soul, your psyche, your imagination. I think that you've just been kind of caught in some kind of conundrum or self-defeating pattern here that has made you feel like you hit a wall, made you frustrated, right? Okay, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I hope that that was clear enough what I was trying to describe here. So let's go ahead and take more cards. Let's go as far as the messages will take us. The Three of Pentacles. If the reading has not resonated with you at this point, this is probably not your reading, because I'm going to try to get as specific as possible here. This reading may only apply to a handful of people who watch this. Okay, Eight of Cups again. Yes. So here's another Eight of Cups. Very different visual. So again, there is a calling, there is a longing. And you may be quite disappointed with the way things are now, but that disappointment, that sadness is important for you, because it is going to motivate you to go beyond your own personal limits, your own, self-limiting beliefs. It's going to spur you. It's going to spur you to try something new here, to experiment, and also to leave your ego at the door. The King of Cups is about feeling union with the divine consciousness, feeling whole, that transcends the ego, right? So the Fool here again points to a necessity to let go of these preconceived notions you've been holding on to. We have the Three of Pentacles and the Death card, and my first thought was work related, something that you've been building with others together. I think you have quite a leadership role too. I think you're sort of someone in charge of a project here. With the Death card, I think that you're working on this project that you really hope will have a bigger life of its own. You're ready to build it just to let it go, if that makes sense. You want to build something that has a life beyond you. Build something that is like a gift to society, a gift to your community. And I say that because with the Death card here, what we're seeing is this metamorphosis. So you're seeing your personal liberation as tied into this project. You want to be liberated from the project, but you also want the project to liberate others. So wow, that's really interesting. Let's see. What else can you tell us, please? What is the message for pile 1 today? The Six of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. Okay, I'm going to put these here. I think you're building something, whatever this project is that you've been working on, very focused on. You're trying to build something that has like generative power. It's regenerative, it's sustainable, it's got economic, it brings prosperity into a whole sphere of life. Like there's something you're creating here that's, I feel like it's like an engine of economic activity. Like you want to lay the groundwork for a business or even a community plan, you know, like urban planning. Like there's something that you're building here that you really want to be economically viable, economically successful. And I think that what you are building is related to retreats, personal wellness, spiritual retreats, or even vacation retreats. It's something that allows people to rest, to restore themselves, to revitalize themselves, to find to be in a peaceful setting, peaceful surroundings, away from the noise, the environment. So you might even be building, like, whether it's a health facility, a spa, wellness related, therapy related. It might even just simply be like you're an Airbnb, you know what I mean? Like a vacation rental that is in beautiful surroundings. So this could be the project that you're thinking of, or that you're focused on. And so if this is the project that you're focused on, then it's like you've been so focused on this project that you're sort of stubbornly refusing the advice of other people, and as a result, you, I think, feel like you hit a wall, and you feel like, you know, you wish you could just walk away from this at this point. It's like you've got yourself invested in this, but you're at a point with the project where you've lost motivation, and maybe you're so now you piled on responsibilities upon yourself, and now you're just tempted to walk away from the responsibilities. But the advice here is that if you just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, even the negative feelings, if you allow yourself the time and the grace and the space to release, and, you know, not just release, explore and feel. And when I said explore, what I mean is let your mind wander, let your thoughts and feelings wander and meander, you know, contemplate, reflect. It's when you're able to do this for yourself that you can regain your footing here, and you can approach the project with a fresh pair of eyes. This is something that you want to create, not just for yourself, but for others. And it's also something that you want to create that will allow you some personal freedom here. You don't want to constantly have to care for this creation, right? You don't want to have to constantly mind the business of this creation. You want to be able to let it go. And so now is the time to practice that exactly. Like, instead of just walking away from your responsibilities, instead let go of the attitude that you have to be responsible for everything, right? There's a difference there. Instead of walking away entirely and throwing away everything that you've worked for, give yourself a reset. Give yourself a personal reset that allows you to approach the project in a new way, in a different way. Okay, wow, this is pretty intense. So let's see what other cards come out. Fire Mother. Beautiful. The Lonely Journey of the Priestess. Yes. And Smother. Okay. So, with this combination of cards, what I'm seeing is that I think you have a lot of, you know, you've got a lot of expectations here, not just your own expectations, but other people's expectations. And yes, I think it's been weighing on you. But it's important to, again, give yourself the room to be who you are, to work on this in your own way, in your own gifted way. I think maybe you've kind of gone by the rule book in certain ways, like you've gotten very attached to some code or some conventional way of doing things, and I think you have to just, I think this is encouraging you to take a step back and reconnect with that inner flame, that inner voice, and let that guide you. I think a lot of your concerns have been swirling around, and you feel like every single thought, every single problem you can think of is in your lap, like it's on your plate, and that's not serving you right now. It's important to take a step back and realize that you're not the sole person responsible for the success of this project. You can lead if only you knew how, if only you could get in touch with your own, with the inspiration, the reason why you wanted to pursue this in the first place, the passion that got you here in the first place. If you can rekindle that passion, then you can lead others, but you can't expect others to be as invested as you if you are just constantly harping on the same things, you know, like a broken record. Okay. Wow. I hope that was helpful. There's a lot going on here. This is definitely a very specific reading. But yeah, there's definitely a powerful chance to transform here, because what you're now seeing is how the outer world is tied to the inner world. You know, I think this is a time in your life where you're really connecting you're really living out, you know, these ideas that you perhaps were just exploring, but now you're really seeing it manifest in your life, how the quality of your inner life is reflected in the quality of your outer life, of the external. The Empress. Beautiful. I love the colors there, and I love how the colors are reflecting this Fire Mother. So the creative process in itself, right? The creative process does involve a certain amount of destruction, but it's pointed destruction. It's destruction that in other words, when you wrangle, when you harness the forces of the destructive forces that are always at play, when you harness the destructive forces that are inherent in life, then your own powers of creativity, your own powers of manifestation are that much more fine-tuned and effective and stronger. Okay, so the Empress here is pointing to your ability to bring into being a very beautiful and grand and majestic idea of abundance, to manifest a beautiful vision and a beautiful contribution, a beautiful gift. With the Fire Mother, with all these colors, you know, it makes me think of the phoenix. It also makes me think of just colorful feathers, right? So embracing all that you are, and not conforming, not feeling like you have to conform to a rigid idea of success or of the completion of this project. You invested in something that is amazing and grand, and you have every chance of success. This point in the project where you're feeling unmotivated and you feel like you want to walk away from everything, this is the key point where you can step back. See, with the Full card, step back and tap into your inner world here. Tap into what is, how it all makes you feel, how it all is impacting you in the emotional and spiritual realm. Okay? Pile 1, what an interesting reading. I wish the best for you. I wish the best of luck for you in this project, and I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please definitely hit the like and subscribe buttons to let me know. Take care, Pile 1. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You selected the Chariot. And we're going to ask, what is the message meant to reach you now? What is the message you need to hear now? Okay, so I have not shuffled and selected your cards yet. I felt like that needed to happen on screen today for some reason. But yeah, let's get started here. I've got an oracle deck here. Let's start with the Modern Nirvana Oracle. What is the message for pile 2? Okay, it's this one. The message for pile 2, please. Okay, so let's start with these two cards. We have equanimity and the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. So very positive so far. With the Chariot, this is an interesting depiction for the Chariot. I feel like these branches are also like neurons, right? And it's showing connection. It's also showing electricity and just the immense growth that happens when you are aligned, when you're in sync. You know, when you're in sync with the forces of the universe, with the natural forces, with your own inner forces. And with equanimity and the Ace of Cups, we're seeing here a beautiful moment of repose, of peace, and a chance to experience gratitude, a chance to receive, to feel a sense of happiness, feel fulfillment, a chance to reconnect with your own, with those and with that which you just love, you know, with all your heart, from the bottom of your heart, with all of your soul. It's a very soulful combination here. And I think that there's something in your life coming together, or it has come together very beautifully, very gracefully, and you're just very grateful for that fact. The Chariot here is making me feel like there was a big undertaking for yourself, and it ended up not being that difficult because what you brought to the table, your own skills, experience, prowess, you brought so much ability to it that it really wasn't as difficult for you as you thought it would be. Okay, let's see what else here. What is the message for pile 2? Let's go deeper. I'll try to get as specific as possible. So this may not be a message for everyone. When I do say things that are quite specific, just take what resonates with you, or or this maybe isn't your reading today. Wow, so we have another oracle card here, sitting on top of the world, Oracle 68. Scry mirror. Wow, interesting. So what I'm seeing here is, I think that you have accomplished something quite amazing because you followed your hunches, you followed your intuition, and you could predict a change in the world, or you could predict world affairs, or you could predict like a change in the industry, and you went for it. You followed your intuition. You really did it out of a sense of joy, and you didn't do it because you were just cynically trying to take advantage of the situation. It just felt very natural to you. So you feel like you feel very much like the the changes of the world, or the progress in the world around you, in the industry you're in, your career, the progress is kind of parallel to your own progress. And that's what feels so good, is that you feel like you're in sync with the world right now, and you appreciate that, because there's been many times when you did not feel that way, right? So you really appreciate this blessing, and you really want to make the best of this. You're not taking it for granted. So that's why with the Chariot, I also see here someone kind of planning their next moves, and really planning from a place of reflection here, not feeling like you're coerced into the next steps, not feeling like you have to act under pressure, but feeling like you can make your next steps, you can make your next move from a genuine place of inspiration, right? What are you genuinely called to do? What are you called to do from just as a, what are you called to do as a creative act, right? Which is so great, because we do see here now the Knight of Cups, a very artistic card, acting upon one's feelings. We see here the Queen of Swords, and we see the Five of Wands. So, a lot going on here. We have the Knight of Cups with these two horses, which is mirroring the Chariot. You know, the horses in the Chariot card are in similar positions. You know, there's a lot of movement here, there's a lot of actions, and with the two horses here and the two horses there, it makes me think like there is a relationship or a partnership that is important to you at this time. Maybe there's even a friendship or a colleague, some kind of partnership that, again, you feel like you're in sync. You feel like you both are going in the same direction, right? Like there's an alliance here, an alliance of, and a gathering of forces that feels good as much as it is very effective, and it's a source, it's a reason why you're successful. The Queen of Swords, I love this Queen of Swords cards because it has such these icons about clarity and really being tuned in to the divine. We have the heart, the sunflower, and a butterfly, and then we also have the crown and a dagger and a sword. And so it's like there's a certain peace and equanimity here, because you see an elegant solution. You see things coming into place very elegantly, and you're able to analyze what is going on around you without what am I trying to say here? It's like there's a genuine enjoyment of just analyzing what it is you're analyzing, studying what it is you're analyzing. So basically, like, you're learning or you're analyzing a subject in depth, and it just brings you joy, because you don't feel the pressure to do this to try to, like, you don't feel the pressure, you're not doing this under pressure. You don't feel the pressure to do this like by a deadline or like in some kind of restrictive sense. You feel like you're just doing this out of pure enjoyment or out of your own just into, you know, instincts. Like you're just called to study something in depth, and it's bringing you a lot of inspiration. It's bringing you a lot of new ideas here that you would like to explore. And with the Five of Wands, even though when I pulled this card and it was, you know, I saw the competition, I see the struggle with these two groups, right, fighting each other. What's interesting to me about the Five of Wands and even the Scry Mirror is that there's something kind of fun here. I feel like even the competition itself is sort of fun. Like, you have such confidence in yourself right now that you welcome these challenges, and you're not feeling like these are, you feel like these are challenges that keep you keep you on your toes in a good way. You feel confident enough that you can handle these challenges, whatever these challenges are coming your way. It's not necessarily a person or people challenging you. It's just kind of the everyday challenges, the everyday things you got to sort out and figure out, like the fires you have to put out, you know, in order to accomplish something. These challenges are kind of keeping you boosted, keeping you invested, keeping you interested in what it is you're doing. Because again, with the Scry Mirror, I see that you are not just excellent at what you do, but you also are able to see the future in a way, right? You see future trends, you anticipate changes. So this could even be somebody who is kind of a vanguard in their industry, someone who has been experimenting or who has done something experimental, and now it's starting to catch on. Now the people around you, or the world around you, is starting to catch up to you. There's that. So what is the message for pile 2? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff here. Okay, these 2 cards came out with a lot of fanfare. We see Death, and we see the Ace of Wands. Okay, so I think this is a message of advice or future outcome with Death and the Ace of Wands. I think your identity is going to be quite different in the near future. You're going to identify you're going to have a new role or a new way of seeing yourself in the near future. And this Ace of Wands is going to inspire you to kind of change tack here. Like, there is a change that you are ready to make. And here's the thing, I think you've been anticipating the change, you've predicted it, but in the near future, you're going to really embrace it, and you're going to feel ready. You're not forcing this change, you're not like rushing to change anything. So again, equanimity, the Ace of Cups, like all these other cards are pointing to you being kind of coming to evolving in your own way, transforming your life in your own way that has been as organic as possible, as smooth as possible, because you've been receptive, right? You've just been going along with the changes and staying true to what is interesting to you, staying true to your own joy, your own personal joy, personal fulfillment. And then you find yourself being like, you know, as you improved over the course of your life at what you do, whether you are in the arts or in therapy. I feel like with the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Swords, like you could be someone who is even a teacher, right? Like even just a teacher who is very tuned into your students, right? This could have a lot of different expressions. But my point is that I think you've reached a point of success where you really can make decisions without being in a rush or being coerced or being under pressure. And what this is doing now is allowing you to actually see a new life beyond this phase, right? You're seeing the next chapter, and you're anticipating the next chapter. And in the near future, you're going to embrace that new chapter with a lot of gusto, with a lot of passion, with a curiosity. This Ace of Wands is, you know, the light within, the inner flame is really going to be guiding you through that new role or the new identity. Again, it's some way that you identify that is shifting. It's funny because, like, I don't feel the need to pull so many cards for you. Let me pull one more. Okay, so I've got this one. the deck I wanted to use. What is the message for pile 2? What other messages or any advice, any clarification? Can I get a response to what I said? Can I get a response to what I said? Okay. Okay, we have the Lovers. Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow, the Ace of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, this is pretty clear to me. I think the new chapter in your life is related to the relationship. And it's likely the relationship I mentioned earlier, that there is someone in your life that is like a kindred spirit, you know, very feeling like they're in sync with you, feeling like they're supportive. I think this relationship is ushering in a new chapter in your life, perhaps as someone who is in a serious relationship, right? In someone who's coupled up, someone who is choosing to get married or choosing to move in together, making a choice for deeper commitment, because now you have the Ace of Pentacles showing up. And with the Sun and the Nine of Pentacles, that is also a clear indication of someone who has really succeeded at being themselves, being true to themselves, being very successful and independent, right? Your success and your independence are kind of intertwined. Like, the reason why you're successful up until this point is because you've been independent. The reason why you're independent is because you've been successful, right? So you've been kind of a very self-reliant person. And I think with the Ace of Pentacles now, with, you know, the Ace of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles will create 10 Pentacles. So you're approaching this next chapter in your life with a sense of like, wow, this will be an incredibly fulfilling new step for me. It feels like it is very much, it just feels very genuine. It feels very natural. It feels like the natural next step in your life, and you feel very happy about it. You feel very optimistic and excited, and we have 3 aces that we pulled, so it's like, yeah, you have wonderful opportunities here related to this new chapter, and you're going to approach it with, again, the equanimity, right? You're going to approach it with a lot of gratitude and receptivity, with an open heart, with an open self. You know, you're going to go into this new phase ready to move on, ready to leave the past in the past, and ready to build a bright new future. So I think that's just beautiful. And yeah, pile 2, I think, like, I don't even have advice to give you, because I feel like this is very beautiful, strong affirmations here. But I'll go ahead and pull a card for advice. Wow, we got the Full card. I mean, what more can I say here? This is just beautiful. The advice is just to, you know, treat this again like an adventure. Trust, right? Just trust that these good things come to you because you deserve good things. You deserve to be open to receiving, right? The Full card is about being receptive and approaching something really with fresh eyes, with a fresh open heart too, and with a sense of adventure. And so I also see that, you know, this particular Full card is beautiful because it shows, on the one hand, it shows a circle, but it also is it's really in the shape of an egg, right? This oval. It reminds me of an egg. And so it's the promise of a rebirth, the promise of a birth of something just wonderful and beautiful, and looking forward to all the new things that you will soon experience and explore. New experiences, right? New experiences that are going to give you joy and going to you know, give you fulfillment here. I see with the Sun Again, very joyful time, but also a peaceful time. You know, feels like it's the right time. That's the other message here, is that these things are coming together at the right time. They've been kind of progressing in this direction for a while, but now they're coming together quite elegantly. And so, yeah, you know, that's the message. I'm very excited for you. And pile 2, I'm wishing you the best of luck for this new chapter, and for this relationship. You know, I think this really is pointing to someone in your life who's important to you and is going to be part of this new chapter. So if that resonates with you, even if you're single, but you just feel it, you just know that there's someone around the corner. If your intuition is telling you that, then, you know, I think this is still the message for you. So that's wonderful. Pile 2, thank you for joining today. If this helps you, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you at the next reading. Take care, Pile 2. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You selected the mystery card. I don't know what card this is either, so we're going to find out. I have not shuffled and selected the other cards for your reading. I'm going to be doing that on screen. I was just... I felt like doing that for this reading for some reason. So let's get started. This is a tarot message that you are meant to reach right now. What is a message meant to reach you right now? You've selected the 7 of Cups here. Okay. And for your first oracle card, assertiveness. Wow, interesting. Yeah, so my first impression when I saw the 7 of Cups is that I do feel like you're in a bit of a confusing situation, something a bit that's perhaps even causing inner conflict. And I think that you're just having trouble getting grounded, maybe. Like, either you have a lot to decide, like you have a lot of decisions to make, and your mind is kind of wandering through all these scenarios, and you're a bit in your head a lot. You're constantly daydreaming, or you're constantly imagining potential outcomes and stuff, kind of daydreaming. Yeah. I even feel like it's possible that you are maybe even watching a lot of tarot videos, maybe spending a lot of your time trying to get answers about the future, but losing, you know, when we get like that, what that means is that we've kind of lost a bit of faith in ourselves. We've lost a bit of faith in our own connection to the universe, to the divine, you know, however you want to express that. There's kind of a self-doubt maybe, right, creeping in, that you don't know what to believe, you don't know what to think. So let's get started with some more cards here for assertiveness. And for this visual we have for the card, you know, this is an eclipse, right? I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I feel like I'm seeing an eclipse here, and the corona, right? So it's like during a time of darkness, you must go within. You must assert yourself even when the outer world is not reflecting or validating you, right? So I feel like you are kind of confused because you're not getting feedback. You're not getting the feedback that you need at this time from the places that you're hoping for. So I feel like assertiveness is here to say you do know what's best for you, and you do know how to go about it. You just need to rekindle that connection, rekindle that inner voice, you know, that has been quiet. it's the more you listen to others, the more quiet it gets, the harder it gets to hear it, right? So it's like tuning out others, letting your surroundings go dark so that your inner light can come through. That's the message I'm getting so far. Let's see, what else? Please clarify. Please give us more messages for pile 3. We have the Page of Pentacles here. Okay. Perhaps you have started a new program or started some kind of new method. Wow, courage. Yes, the sun. This is so interesting. The sun has come out from almost every deck. Well, I would say, yeah, almost every tarot deck I've used today, the sun has showed up. So this is definitely about getting in touch with your personal willpower, your essential self, your authentic self, your inner light. Like, you perhaps have been confused about how to recognize that. And with this Page of Pentacles, I think you've had a lot of lessons. Like, you're now experiencing, you're having these experiences that are teaching you, but they're sort of growing pains, right? Like, you're learning as much from your mistakes as your successes. You're learning as much about where you've been wrong as much as about where, and as well as where you've been right. So there is a humility here that I think has been present. I think you've been humbled recently. Maybe humbled by, the hard knocks of life, right? So I see here in this image a young person looking at this very abundant, kind of luxurious spread of food, and they're very hesitant. I feel like they're very hesitant to approach, and I think they feel a bit like they're out of place, and they feel like they don't quite know what to do. So maybe feeling like a fish out of water has been a recent experience for you. Maybe you're in a new job or a new program, and again, you're not really getting the feedback from the outer world. You're not getting that external feedback that you're hoping for. So with courage and the sun, there's a very strong message here to be yourself, to trust that as long as you are yourself, you will succeed, okay? As long as you are yourself, you will succeed. Having the courage to be yourself is necessary at this time. And it's not easy. We see here in this card, somebody has to battle a huge, giant snake, giant serpent, right? Somebody is battling this huge mythical creature, and the odds are against them. It's like this is the David versus Goliath type of scenario. But when you have trust in yourself, what happens is that you align with cosmic forces. You bring to yourself the alliance of your guides, of the Creator. It's that integrity and it's that purity of self that does lead you towards success, victory, brighter futures, all because you're following the truth. You're now aligning with truth rather than falsehoods and misconceptions. So I know I'm kind of speaking vaguely here, but I hope this resonates with you, because I am seeing a scenario here where you've been quite confused, perhaps even a bit misled by certain delusions or fantasies. But recently, right? This is just recently, and this could just be a short phase. I'm not saying this is how you've been all your life. I feel like this is just the current situation you're in. Wow. What? We have the Emperor, the Magician, and the Wheel of Fortune. Amazing, right? Like, what was I just saying about being aligned with the truth is therefore going to align you with the the cosmic forces, you know, like the Emperor, the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune. This is about taking fate in your own hands and not being a victim of circumstances, but really being in control, like taking control. There are certain things that are out of our control. Okay, we shouldn't delude ourselves to think that every single thing will be in our control. However, assertiveness with the Emperor and the Magician is showing that you have a tremendous opportunity now to really define and embrace your really define and embrace your goals, what it is you want. How does success look to you? What is it that you want to accomplish, right? To be very clear about that, and then to assert that and behave like that, to take action, right? Not just let it sit like a daydream, right? Instead of daydreaming, but really acting on these goals, acting on these dreams, you have as good a chance as anyone to accomplish what you're setting out to accomplish. Actually, I would say you have a better chance, because what's showing up here is, in fact, the cosmic forces turning in your favor. With the Wheel of Fortune here, I am taking this to be incredibly fortunate, and an incredibly positive turn of events that will strengthen your willpower, and it will help you assert yourself. So yeah, that's an incredibly strong message there. I think if that resonates with you, that you've been a bit confused, conflicted, maybe even analysis paralysis, if you felt like you're not sure if you're going to succeed at something because, you know, you keep getting, maybe you get one thing right but two things wrong, you know, kind of the 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. If you felt like you've had muddled results up until this point, this is a very clear message that you need to trust yourself and trust what it is you want. You are on a path to success here, but it's going to open up as you become more bold and brave in expressing who you truly are. Okay, as the more aligned you are with your true self, the more the success will show up in your external world. Oh my god, I don't mean to laugh, but this next card, wow. Fear that the light will bring judgment. So again, courage is needed here because you are afraid of failure. You're afraid of scrutiny. You know, you're afraid that if you do something that you care about, that you won't recover from possible rejection or possible failure. And, you know, anytime someone has been successful in their life, it's only because they've been able to address failure. They've encountered failure and they got back up. You know, the only real failure in life, right, is not ever trying. And so again, this is a huge message of encouragement to try, to attempt, to, you know, get excited about this dream of yours. Get excited that you could be successful and you could very well enjoy that. And it could be an incredibly fun process, a fun adventure. You know, it's not, I think that you maybe have some misconceptions about what you're trying to do. Maybe you think that it will be more difficult than it really is. Maybe you think that people's criticism will be harsher than it really will be. And, you know, I'm not going to say for sure that it's one way or the other. I'm only going to say that it's the fear of success and the fear of failure that keeps us back. It's the fear that something could go right as well as the fear that something could go wrong. And so letting go of that fear and detaching from the outcome is what's key here. So when when we say assertiveness, it's not like I'm going to make $1 million and I'm not giving up until I make $1 million, because that keeps you focused on the outcome. Assertiveness is asserting your essential self, asserting your life force, asserting your own creative spirit here. And we all have a creative spirit. We all have a soul that is here to have wonderful life experiences, okay? So what I was trying to say is just like detaching from the outcome, like detaching from a specific result is key here, because that keeps you focused on hypotheticals. Don't worry about hypotheticals. Concern yourself with taking action. Concern yourself with what is in your control. And as long as you remain in a Seven of Cups kind of fantasy mode, it will be harder to see what is actually in your control and what is not. Asserting yourself and taking action, bold action, is how you learn to navigate tricky situations. I mean, it's how you have to make mistakes, is my point. You have to learn from mistakes. None of us that succeeds is successful because we've never made a mistake, right? Even when we see young people who like go to the Olympics and stuff, and like child prodigies, I mean, they're exceptions, right? They're exceptional talents, but even they are where they are because they had to put in so much time to practice. They had to start, somewhere, being new to it. They were still at some point in their careers making mistakes, okay? So again, don't have a delusion. One thing that prevents people from trying is the fear of failure. And another thing that can set people back is when they've been told, they've gotten feedback that they're so great, they're so talented, and then this talented or bright young person, let's say you're someone who's you're gifted, like you're gifted, you have all these talents, but you're afraid to really apply those talents because you're afraid that if you fail at something, it means you're worthless. Like that's the thing. Some people have their personal worth tied to these ideas of themselves, which are actually, egotistical, right? Like maybe when you were, maybe you realize things come naturally to you and you probably have a talent in something, but you're afraid to pursue the talent because you can't handle being bad. You can't handle the failure, right? You can't handle those learning, those growth experiences. You're afraid that it will mean you're not actually talented. But again, the essential self is not about being vain. It's not about being so proud of all the talents you have. The essential self is your life force that spurs you to experience something novel, experience something grand, joyful. Like the essential self is not about the ego. It's about the life force that is within you and the inner flame that draws you towards experience. So just follow your bliss, right? Follow your bliss. And if there is something that is incredibly joyful to you, whether or not you're good at it, that's where you should, that's the path forward, right? So very strong, wonderful message here. And I really hope that if this is resonating with you, that the message here is loud and clear, right? Like, go ahead, go forth, try, make an attempt, don't worry about failure or success. That's not what's key here. That's not what's important. It doesn't matter what people think about you. The Nine of Wands. What an interesting depiction of the Nine of Wands there. I'm gonna unpack that in just a moment, but I want to get another card. I feel like there's just a couple more things to say here. The Devil. Okay, interesting. So we have the Nine of Wands and we have the Devil. Yeah, so I think it's possible that you have been exposed to some toxic ideas that, like, I think there's a toxic idea that you don't deserve anything unless it's made you suffer, unless you've had to suffer for it. Nothing should come easy. So, you know, kind of on the opposite end of what I was saying earlier, which is like, you should still try, you should still risk failure, because you're not really going to improve if you don't risk failure. On the opposite end of that, or more like, you know, complementary to that rather, the other side of that is that there are things that are going to come naturally to you, and you shouldn't have a guilty conscience about it. You shouldn't feel guilty or feel like, oh, you know, like you're like you don't deserve that or something. Like, if something comes naturally to you, if you do have a talent, right, like, embrace that, and don't let these toxic thoughts or these toxic criticisms from other people get to you. Sometimes people want to people project their own issues on others, and so the more we succeed at something, the more happy we are, even the happier we get. You might encounter people who don't want to see you happy, and they're going to try to tear you down. And that is their issue. That's not your issue. That is because they have a personal issue that they have not confronted. And, you know, you're showing up kind of triggering that in them. But that doesn't mean you're responsible for resolving that for them, right? So the Nine of Wands generally has to do with the defense, the resistance, kind of even the last stand, because it's like the hill we're ready to die on. You know, there's a certain stubbornness, and it could even mean a certain grit. Sometimes we do need to hang on and like keep fighting, because it is an important battle we are fighting, and we're just very close to victory. So the Nine of Wands has different meanings, but with this card, it's such an interesting depiction, because it is not at all a traditional depiction. It's a woman in a tree here, and this guy is looking up at her, and it seems like he's courting her. You know, it seems like she's perhaps trying to avoid him, like maybe she's been hiding from him and he found her. So what I'm getting here is that oh, wow. So what I'm getting here is that I think you've known for some time that you are talented at something, or there is something that brings joy to you, but you've been ashamed to embrace it. Like, you've been hiding it away because you feel like you're not supposed to be like that. Like, there's something about your essential self. There's something about who you are that you've been trying to hide away, because you don't feel like, you just feel you feel like you're not supposed to be that way. But you're born this way, right? It's like you were born this way. You are a human being. You have things about you that you can't change. You have predispositions, you have desires, you have preferences. Like, these are, your natural being should not be shameful. And whoever has shamed you, if that has happened, that's on them. That's not on you. So, wow, that's quite specific. If that's for you, that is the message. The message of let go of that internalized criticism, let go of the shoulds. I should do this, I should do that, or I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't do. Like, let go of that, because it's not serving you at this time. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull a few more oracle cards, and then I think that will give us a lot to consider, talk about, perhaps advice. Yeah, what is the advice? What is the advice for pile 3? Okay, I got a bunch here, so I'm going to pull out these two. All right, so now I have 4 oracle cards. Let's see. Wow. Oh, wow. Dependency and everything will be okay. So the first oracle card here is dependency, which totally tracks with the Devil card. It could speak to an addiction. It could also speak to a codependency, Perhaps you are in a, perhaps there's a parent or someone in your life that you want their approval, and a lot of your stress, a lot of your a lot of the negativity or the unhappiness in your life might be trying to get their approval when they're, it's really not about them. There's a point in life where you have to just be who you are and realize that you are responsible for your happiness. It's not somebody else that can give that to you. If someone doesn't approve of you, if you're constantly worried about someone's judgment of you, then you're sort of letting them steal away your life force. You're kind of giving it up to them because you're putting your happiness in their hands. And that kind of dependency is what keeps us stuck and keeps us unhappy. So, let go of that. Everything will be okay. What a beautiful message here. Everything will be okay. If dependency does relate to some kind of substance addiction, maybe you are maybe you are trying out sobriety now. Maybe you've recently become sober and you're learning so much about yourself. You're unearthing so much about who you truly are that maybe it's overwhelming you. Everything will be okay. Don't fear this new path that's opening up for you, even though it has its ups and downs. Don't fear it. It's leading you in the right direction. It's guiding you towards your inner light here, okay? And your happiness. So the last two cards, which I also wanted to get for advice, is Weightlessness and the Philosopher's Stone. These are wonderful cards. What this is saying is that you have available to you a personal transformation, and it is something that happens as you release these ideas, as you release these false ideas about who you are, what you want, what you're supposed to want, what you're supposed to want in life, what you're supposed to pursue, what you're supposed to be good at, right? Like, these are things that have been burdening you, and maybe you don't even realize it. You don't really realize it. So weightlessness refers to this beautiful chance to start anew without this baggage. And the Philosopher's Stone is about that transformation. This is about alchemy here. Transmuting the suffering that we encounter in life, transmuting that into grace, into fulfillment, into peace. Okay, so as advice, I would say it's actually pointing to advice that perhaps you need to explore some spiritual ideas. Perhaps you need to explore for yourself, what is it that you believe the universe is about, right? Like, what are your own ideas about spiritual matters? Because, here you are watching a tarot reading, but I don't know I don't know your thoughts on that. Maybe, you're skeptical. So I do think there's advice here that you can explore these ideas, and what will guide what you should follow as the guide is that calling, that inner self, that inner flame that is helping you see things, helping you shed light on these misconceptions again, right? These falsehoods. The things that are causing you pain are probably not grounded in reality or the truth. So be brave in seeking that truth, this truth of who you are and the truth of the world around you. Be brave in that and assert yourself, assert your commitment to the truth, assert your own curiosity. And you can't go wrong. So there's so much here, Pile 3. I feel like I could unpack this further, but I don't want to I don't want to encumber you because clearly you've got a lot on your plate, or you've got a lot on your mind. So I'll just leave it here. And I hope that, you know, even if some of this makes sense to you, even if some of this is helpful to you, that would be great. So feel free to revisit this video if there are a lot of things here that are still kind of and you know, there's still so much. If you're not getting things here the first watch, I would say, you know, feel free to watch this again after some time, after a few weeks or something. Revisit this video and see if you know, see what rings true, because you've got so much potential here, and I think your guides want you to embrace that and to not fear it. You know, not fear your living out your full potential. Don't fear living out your best life. Okay, pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. You know, if this was helpful for you, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. I love getting that feedback. And I really hope to see you at the next reading. Take care, pile 3. Best wishes for this beautiful journey of self-exploration, personal exploration, and personal growth that is opening up for you, okay? Take care, pile 3.